you all. This is Adrienne Fuller from the Therapist Corner.
And I'm Natasha Carby Joseph.
And today we're going to talk to you a little bit about ways to increase your attendance rate in your private practice.
Yes.
We are happy to present this presentation to you because of Therapy Notes. We want to thank them for sponsoring us. Therapy Notes is a wonderful EMR that gives you a great service, and they are also offering a 2-month trial with the code PAMROW17. And speaking of Pam Rowe, we just want to say hello, and she is missed today, and we are doing this on behalf of all three of us. So increasing your attendance rate, if you've been in private practice for longer than 20 minutes, then attendance is and can be an issue.
Yes, it sure
for all
is.
of us. Because we have cancellations, people get sick, especially if you see mostly pediatrics, kids get sick, therapists get sick. So we've come up with a few things that we feel are great ways to increase your attendance rate.
For sure. So starting with number one, putting reminders in place. So some people choose to have, make a phone call the day before, or you could send a text message from your personal phone or something to that effect. But there are also text message programs out there that you can utilize that you put someone's schedule in there, and then it will send a text message as a reminder. Now, I will caution, some of those do have the ability for you to respond yes or no if they're going to keep the appointment, and you might want to not enable that function because you don't want people just canceling from a text message.
It's easy just to type no.
It's easy to type no, and then it could really and truly be counterproductive.
Yes.
So definitely, that's another option out there. If you're looking into something like that, of course, check into, how many text messages can you send a month.
Correct.
Those types of things, because if it's too costly, it's not really making much sense, depending especially on how high your caseload is. So that's definitely something to think about, but for sure, putting reminders, having a system where you have reminders. And Adrienne, I know you were saying something about Therapy Notes.
There are, if you are using an EMR, and hopefully you are, Therapy Notes, they have the capability of offering that, texting your patients on your behalf through email, I believe it is. And so that's another reason why we do like Therapy Notes, but there are other electronic medical records that do the same thing. And there are apps on your phone that will do it. So I remember as a solo practitioner when I was starting out, I used to just kind of assume people would come for therapy because it was important to me. But people need reminders. Life is happening to them. If they're parents, they have a lot going on. So that reminder always helps.
Yes, for sure.
Get them in the door.
Yes.
The second thing is to offer incentives. Natasha and I were kind of brainstorming before we got online here, and she was talking about coming up with a perfect attendance incentive program that she's come up with.
Yes. And it's something, of course, we don't want anybody to be breaking the bank. We are very economical here. So, and then another, really is you can have a board up, in your common area, lobby, something, waiting room, something to that effect. Now, be mindful of HIPAA that you're not putting first and last names up. You could put, first names, last initial, something to that effect. And then have incentive. So if they have perfect attendance, then they have the option to possibly earn something from the treasure box.
A gift card.
Gift card. And like I was telling Asia before, sometimes Target or something has those incentives that if you buy 3 or 4 of a certain product, then you get the free $5 gift card. You can use something like that as an incentive. Or, maybe you have a child that really and truly enjoys a certain activity that you don't allow them to do. Maybe for that child, they can earn that activity, So it really and truly truly, you know, depends on how it is you want to play it and the specifics, like if you have children that come more than one time a week and, you know, so it's fair for everyone, but it is used as an incentive for, you know, children to come on a or adults to come on a regular basis.
And kids are great at reminding their parents that they know that there's a prize on the line or on
Yes.
the table.
Yes.
Mom and Dad, we've got to get to therapy today.
Yes,
So
yes.
they can actually be your
Right.
advocate at the same time. So
Right.
if they know there's something on the line, they are great at letting their parents
Yes.
know that there's therapy today.
Yes, for sure.
Another one is having a no-show fee and enforcing it.
Yes.
And so a lot of times as therapists, we are in it to help. We're in it to help other
Yes,
people,
of
and we
course.
feel almost guilty charging a fee. And I want you to know, every time I go to the doctor and I don't show up, there's a fee. Every time I go to the dentist and I don't show up, there's a fee. And so we are well within our rights to charge and enforce that.
Yes, for sure. For sure, you know, and don't feel bad about it. It's affecting, you know, from a business perspective, if we look at it just from a business perspective,
Right.
it's affecting your bottom line,
Yes.
point blank. Because you have a
Absolutely.
spot that you have reserved for someone and they're not showing up. And then from a, you know, progress perspective, if you're not showing up for the amount of time that we are proposing for you to show up, then you're not making the progress, you know, and this is something that should be in your paperwork. We all have it in most of us have it in our paperwork. Review this on a consistent basis, whether it's at the beginning of the year. Pick a time that you review your paperwork, especially if it's your long-term patients. Review it and document that it was reviewed. So either having someone initial it, sign, you know, and make sure you keep a copy and a record and document it in the child's file, whether it's the EMR or whether it is a paper file, whichever one that you're using, but make sure you document it so that when you do have that inevitable patient or parent that tries to buck the system and challenge you, of course, then you have your documentation to, you know, follow through with and help you with the consistency of it.
And it is important for us to also note, if, say in my office, we do take Medicaid, and you should be aware of all of your reimbursement sources, policies and procedures as far as no-show and cancellation fees go. I know in our state, we are not allowed to bill a patient out of pocket. So be sure that you know, I'm not one for making empty threats that I can't really enforce. So be sure that that is something you can actually enforce.
Yes, for sure.
If you are a person who is cash-based, then absolutely, you definitely want to enforce that no-show fee.
Yes, for sure.
The next thing is showing progress to parents.
Yes.
That's probably one of the number one ways to get people in the door, is if they're seeing progress.
Yes.
People don't want to keep coming and changing around their lives into your office if they're not seeing any progress.
Correct.
So in our office, we have a therapy note that we track our data, and so we report to the patient or the parent every single session. So I found that really beneficial to show parents, because we see a lot of pediatrics here, that they're making progress. So if 2 weeks ago you're able to complete one-step directions with 50% accuracy, and today you're able to complete them with 75% accuracy,
Yes.
then you're actually showing data and showing the parent that yes, they are making progress.
Yes, for sure. That can be a big thing, because, you know, life happens.
It does.
You know, you're not the only activity or, you know, appointments that this family has, and you want the parent or the patient to really and truly know that this service is valuable, not just because you say so.
Right.
Absolutely. Because you are honestly and truly working towards the goals that you have set forth in this evaluation/plan of care, and that the child is really and truly making progress.
Right. Natasha, I did have a therapist once that the kid was a little bit of a handful, and they she would take the kid out and say, he didn't do anything for me today. but it was like 3 weeks of that. And after a while, she asked to be switched to a different therapist because no one wants to bring their child to therapy and not see any progress. And we all have those patients that are our gems. And sometimes we have to dig deep to find progress, but find something positive.
Yes.
Mom, you know what? He followed directions twice today instead of nothing, and
Yes.
that's progress.
Yes.
Showing progress gives parents hope. We all want hope.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
progress is the key.
Yes.
And the last thing is establishing and following through on an attendance policy.
Yes, for sure. You know, we can have whatever written down, you know, you can have it written in gold, you can have it wallpapered all over your office.
Right.
But if you are not actually following through with what you're saying,
Yes.
then you're wasting your time.
For nothing.
Yes, you're wasting your time, and you are essentially, again, private practice owners, we are business people.
We are.
You know, if you just want to be a therapist, then go work for somebody else. If you
Yes.
want to,
That's true.
yes, if you,
Absolutely.
right, and you work for somebody else and who has an established policy that they enforce. You know, but you definitely need to be aware that, you know, you bring someone on your caseload. Yes, you are there to help as a therapist,
Mhm.
but you are also a business owner. And if you're not seeing
Mm-hmm.
someone, it's affecting your bottom line again.
And it's really more than the bottom line. It's about all the time and the prep work that we do into
Yes.
establishing and planning for
Yes.
a therapy session. And when someone doesn't come, that's frustrating sometimes more even than losing the money.
Yes, yes.
To be honest. And so I found in my journey, attendance has really been kind of an issue for me on and off.
Mhm.
And so, as stated before, the reminders helped. But the thing that's helped us the most is establishing an attendance policy that I'm comfortable with. Because I've gone back and forth. I used to have 3 times, and then that felt like it was a little too tough. So then I said, after 4 no-shows, we have to let you go. And then I said, that's too many. And so just coming up with something I'm comfortable with. And so that might take a little time.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so, and that's okay.
Yes.
But having that, so we have settled on 2 times that are visits that are missed. So even if you're sick, the sessions need to be made up. So in our practice, we realized that we needed to account or have some makeup days available for parents. For us, that is Friday, and I don't like working on Friday, but that's when parents like to make up sessions, and so we make it our business to be here.
Yes.
And so that's really helped. I know Pam once said, if you are allowing 4 times that a patient's not showing up,
Mhm.
we reeval every 6 months. So
Mhm.
that's 8 times that a patient is able to not come to therapy and still be on your caseload. And when you add up those sessions, that reimbursement that you're getting,
That's a lot of
that's
money.
a lot of money.
It is.
So for us, now you have to do what's best for you,
Mhm.
but sticking to it to me has been
For
really,
sure.
really the
For
thing
sure.
that's helped us.
And then just the final thing I would say, you know, we want to establish these attendance policies for our patients, but make sure you as a therapist are not canceling a lot as well.
Oh, that's a
Because
good
that
point.
can set the tone in itself, because if you're saying, you know, we don't want you to cancel, but you as a therapist is canceling a lot, that can definitely
That's a good
sabotage your attendance policy.
And you were talking about medical necessity.
Yes.
And if we're saying that we take a lot of insurance,
Mm-hmm.
we're saying to the insurance company, this is medically necessary,
Yes.
but the patient never comes. Is
Right.
it really medically necessary? You have
For
to think
sure.
about that too.
For sure, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been a great talk.
Of course.
We really thank you for joining us today. We want to thank our sponsor, Therapy Notes,
Yes.
for sponsoring this.
Yes.
Check them out, guys. It's a good product.
Mm-hmm.
But also check out our website. It's www.thetherapistcorner.com. We'd love to hear from you, and
Yes.
we'd love to hear if you have anything you'd like us to talk about at a later time.
Mm-hmm.
There's information on there, and also some other webinars that we've done in the past that you can actually request. So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
thank you so much, and take care.
Yes. Bye.